Hello and welcome to the Heads and Volleys podcast with me, Lee Dunn. Well, it's been 7 months. What a ride it's been lately with my life at home, a baby, and different coaching assignments, working in different environments, from doing some coaching with our local Sacramento Republic and ODP and then a little DOC role. So lots of things going on, but I figure it's time to jump right back into this because there's a lot of important things that I've learned over the last 7 months. And one of the most important things I want to share today is the concept of what do you know, what is your role, what are your skills, and what can you offer to an organization. So what do I mean by all that? It comes from just my own experience of being in the position that I'm about to talk about, but also being on the other end of this, in that people reach out to me and they say, do you have any jobs? Or I'm a ex-licensed coach, B, C, D, grassroots, whatever license, I have this experience. Do you have any teams for me? And an average club, any club, will typically just look at the list of teams that they have and the list of coaches and be able to give you a very quick answer, yes or no. And if it's no, it's probably the middle of the season. If you're thinking about right now, especially as teams have already started training and getting ready for competition here, technically competition in Northern California can start within next weekend. So it's right here. The chances of finding new opportunities, especially in the traditional route of working within the club environment, are very, very slim. So when you reach out to somebody or you're beginning to look for a new club, instead of offering up that you are a coach and do they have anything available, I want you to just take a little bit of time and explore some of these ideas around what you know and what your strengths are. And I'll start with my own perspective as a director, in that I don't know what I don't know, or on the flip side of that is I don't know what my community needs, when a lot of the time the typical role of a director of coaching is putting out fires. It's making sure that coaches are happy. It's making sure that a board of directors is satisfied, making sure that parents are receiving what they've signed up to receive. It's making sure that players are being challenged and are in the right place for their play, making sure that fields are fine, goals are set up, making sure the guy who's supposed to be lining the fields is lining the fields, and then also considering where the organization sits geographically with other clubs or within a league, or pushing the organization forward for trying to achieve X status within a league, or applying for one of these new fancy XYZ ABC leagues. So there's a lot that the director of coaching goes on, and I think if you ask any director of coaching or any director of programming or any director in general, if they had a wish list of things within a club or within their community, they could probably reel off 10 or 20 ideas, from the average club struggling to have anybody that has any strength and conditioning experience. Goalkeeping experience is a really big, popular idea that you can offer to a club, and it's a very specialized position, and if you do it well, you can create yourself a job that the organization didn't know that they even needed. And this comes from my own reflections as a director, where I look and I think I would love to grow programs across the city of San Francisco. I would love to expand our programs to hit more people. I'd love to offer more to the independent teams that play within our league, and that comes with coach education and also player education. I'd love to offer all of these things, but on the back of a napkin, if I was to write it down, I wouldn't really have many ideas, I guess, initially, of how to really expand that without doing some research, without having conversations with people that I know. And this is where my challenge to you is to investigate who your local clubs are, who the club is that you are considering reaching out to and asking about working for or offering your services to, and see what they do. And then think about what your strengths are. So I'll give you the first example here. Is in San Francisco, we created the Goalkeeper Academy with an excellent coach who's in the city. She's traveled all over pursuing coaching licenses. She took some goalkeeping licenses in the UK, and she is a goalkeeper herself. So she has a lot of strengths to offer in the goalkeeping position. But she reached out and she said, I see that you don't have any goalkeeping offers for your players, no opportunities, no camps, no clinics, no training, no guidance. Can I do that for you? So then my immediate response is absolutely. And then the business cogs start turning of how we manage it, how we do it. Is it a weekly thing? Is it a membership thing? And then it works to her schedule. It works to the organization's schedule. We secure field space. We set it up. We trialed it at the end of the spring season. It was a huge hit with a small sample size. So then we grow into another offering for more people with more refined opportunities for players based on self-identified skill level. And then they receive assessments. And so from back of a napkin thinking that I would like to have goalkeeping because it's so specialized and it's something that often, unfortunately, especially in the recreational game, it's a position that is either a bad position because it's just rotated and you go in goal and you hope for the best, but it's also a position that no one really knows too much about. So we offer this training. I've always wanted to offer goalkeeper training. I've myself have ran goalkeeper training clinics, sessions for coaches and for players, and I'm okay at it, but I'm not a goalkeeper. I can read and I can research and I can ask questions, but again, I'm not a goalkeeper. So I find the talented goalkeeper coach finds me, and then we grow from there. So she reached out to me with a solution to a problem that I didn't really know that I had. Then the second example is a coach who I hired in another director role that I left, and he reached out to me and said, what do you have available? Do you have anything? I just moved to the area. I'm looking to get involved. So then that kind of opened up the conversation, and this is why I don't necessarily like this, was me then saying, well, what can you do for me? Yes, you can coach teams. Lots of people can coach teams. The club had volunteer parents that coach teams. So you're not really any different to anyone in that capacity. What's your specialty? What age do you like working with? Do you like working with boys or girls? And then I can think a little bit more about how I may use somebody with the experience that he had on his resume. Now that took a little bit more work and it landed at a good time, I guess. But as I said, with the expectations of a director and the job that they're fulfilling, they're often not really able to comprehend a cold email that says, I'm looking for work, what do you have? And I have a X license here and all this experience. You're just another coach. And as harsh as that seems, it's unfortunately the truth. So how do you stand out? It took me a little bit of time to drill down with this coach that he's actually a specialist in working with 5 through 8-year-olds. That's where he is self-declared the best. So then I take him on and I talk to a couple of his references who I actually knew because soccer's such a small world. And they recommend him for working with little programs. So then I create a little program that he can take on and master and run with. Now that took a little bit more work, but it came from a conversation around what are his favorite things. So how can you do this? Probably just reach out straight away and say, my name is Lee. I'm a specialist goalkeeper coach. I have this experience. I played at this position. I would love to run some goalkeeper training for you. Here are some ideas that I have around how I do goalkeeping. I have a curriculum. I don't have a curriculum. I have these coaches that I work with. I have all of this background that basically you're now emailing me or calling me and saying, hey, Lee, I'm a goalkeeper coach. I'm going to do these goalkeeper clinics for you. This is how much you're going to pay me, or this is what it's going to take. And then it goes from there. And as I said, this is really coming from a position of not really knowing what I need or what I have, but you actually identifying that you're going to stand out from the crowd a little bit more in terms of here is my experience and here is what I have to offer. So that's some of the very obvious field stuff. Now, coaching teams is always something that a coach is going to make money doing. It's the other things around it. Now, what does your local club, what does your experience offer to a club behind the scenes? So I reference all of the things that a director of coaching does. Do you have expertise around that? Can you take pictures? Can you post on social media? Can you write blogs? Can you construct coaching plans for the coming week, season, cycle? Can you build from a curriculum? Can you create documents that will support teams traveling? There's so many things that, again, people don't realize that they need until they need it. And if you've got the experience of doing that, if you've booked travel for a club before, or if you kind of understand how to work around things like that, or you can apply to tournaments for the club, or you can start just refining people's applications on their registration system, or be the master of TeamSnap, because if you use TeamSnap, you probably know what a bane it is to use. And so if you can offer skills around these things, you suddenly become much more valuable. And the value, of course, then lends itself to you gaining experience, gaining opportunity. And much like when I got involved with the Sacramento Republic, it was a conversation about recruiting players from the local area and some of my experience with ODP. But then it was an offer of, I would love to come and assist. I'll pick up the cones for you. I'll make sure the balls have air in them. I'll fill up the water bottles because I know that you have a trainer, but the trainer sometimes gets overwhelmed with the taping up of players and all of that sort of stuff. But I just want to be out there. And so if you would allow me to be out there and run a portion of a warm-up, or if you'd allow me to be out there and coach the defenders against your attack or vice versa, I would love to do it. There's no expectation. I don't expect you to give me a job off of this. I don't expect you to do anything like that. I don't expect you to pay me. I'm being out there for my own experience, to offer myself to you in terms of building my own experience, my own resume. And of course, the vested interest for me is to look long-term at working in that environment. So several ideas here of ways to begin to get involved with organizations that you may have thought were just kind of out of reach, or they never post an opportunity on their website. They never post an opportunity on the United Soccer Coach job page because the jobs come up quick or they get taken quickly, and coaches coach multiple teams. So there's not really much need for that traditional coaching role to be fulfilled. But I assure you, there are lots and lots of different ways that you can get involved if you just look at what you have to offer versus what they can offer you. And then you have the power, and then you have the experience to offer, and you have the value that a club should absolutely want. And it also reduces the stress on a director of coaching, because when your resume lands in their inbox, they may forward it to a age group director or to a technical director, depending on the structure of your organization and how it works. But they often just offload. Do you guys need a C license coach? Okay, talk to them, whatever. And then in the chaos of what's going on in everyday life in a club or in a league, of course it falls by the wayside. So what are your strengths? What do you have to offer? Write them down right now, and then begin to frame out how you can offer this type of service to an organization and take it from there. Good luck with it. And let me know how it goes at Lead on Soccer.